How to fix your cheap but fairly low quality garage door. It's not so cheap to have a new one installed when they get this recurrent fault. It's difficult to pinpoint it. There's a very simple reason for that. You sort of think down the hinging side channels that there must be a spring inside there. I even put a screw in and then took it out because I thought that might be restricting the movement. And apply too much pressure, and the small series of spot welds that hold the channel of the hinge that attaches to the door, they shear away from the door body itself. With the pressure that you're applying lifting, if you're clever, you will hear, as you're lifting, a little crack as this happens. Then, very gingerly, you can open it just a little bit and sort of limbo and wriggle under the door. So you're then there inside in the dark, and locate a few cable ties through some holes that are already there and around and pull it tight. And the channel will be within a couple of inches of where it's supposed to be, and the door will open and you can Hunchback of Notre Dame through and underneath. Now, this isn't the fix that I'm talking about. The fix is really a maintenance thing. You've got to oil your springs. When you're there, inside, in the dark, up above, if you reach up with your hand, there's two pulleys and two springs, one operating each hinge each side. And those, while you'd think you put your car away in the garage every night like your insurance insists that you should, we don't, do we? Hands up, whose garage is full of junk? The springs don't get used like they're supposed to. I'm not sure if that's so essential. But greasing your springs, oiling your springs is essential. Definitely not a WD-40. That will strip any oils that it has from the manufacturer away. And that would be a little bit like using whiskey to wash your hair with or something. You need to conditioner those springs. These rusty old springs are all 2 or 5 years old. You can open the garage 3/4 of the way, but that last quarter, those rusty old springs, they're just not having it, and they want to force it back down and trap you inside. You want to try and soak them in oil, if you can. It will bring them back if they're not completely beyond hope. And grease them. Grease stays there a little bit more. While you're on this, you want to get some Tech screws. These spot welds, put some Tech screws up through those channels of the hinges that attach to the door. You might consider it a red herring, really, the bushes on the rollers. There's some sort of plastic sleeves that fit around the metal pins that go up and down the channel attached to the door frame. They're a nicety, but not as an essential. You can only grease these springs, you can only see these springs from inside with the door closed, with a torch. Because there's a little canopy that your door enables, which is good in terms of keeping off the rain, but bad for even realising that there's these maintenance of these springs, oiling and greasing, even necessary. Out of sight, out of mind. With that bit of troubleshooting, fault finding, there should be no reason why, with a bit of gentle care, your cheap door doesn't last years longer than much more expensive ones.